Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's edition of HR Mentorship Series, another learning opportunity. And today we are looking at a very important subject. The topic we'll be looking at is improving employee performance through non-financial reward system. Improving employee performance through non-financial reward system. Today, our speaker is already with us. She joined very early, and she is Jennifer Otas by name. And I'll just, so that we can get to know her better, I'll be reading a brief profile in the next few seconds so that we can get to know her, and it will also help us to pay attention. Currently, Jennifer is an HR generalist, and she works with Camilla Brook PLC. And prior to now, she was also an HR generalist with Omiva, where she worked for about a year. Prior to then, she also worked with Jolly Energy Fleets Limited as human resource lead. She has experience working with a community development organization, as human resource and administrative officer, and she also has exposure working with a Chinese firm, Come Chop Chinese restaurant. She is well educated, well read, and also has a very robust experience in the subject matter she'll be taking us today. I would like to encourage us that we pay attention so that we can get full value for our learning time tonight. Okay, just to also add that she has a Bachelor's of Science from the prestigious University of Port Harcourt. She's majored in education management. She also has a postgraduate diploma in management science from the same university. At this
I can hear you, Martin, again.
Oluyemi, we appear to have lost you. Are you there?
Jennifer, I expected you to just continue. Please continue. You have the floor. Okay. Hello, Jennifer. Please, you have the floor. We finished the introduction.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Jennifer.
Don't go ahead.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, ma. Just go ahead.
Okay, so like the host has rightly mentioned, we'll be talking on improving employee performance through non-financial reward system. And we'll have a table of contents around these few areas that are key when you talk about non-financial reward system. First of all, we're going to look at the word, the concept reward, what reward is. We all know everybody talks about rewards. Employees in organization, they want to be rewarded. Employers too, they find it difficult to focus their attention on what kind of reward do I even give to my employees to keep them focused, for them to understand that I have their interests at heart. Also, we'll look at the non-financial techniques to improve employee performance. why non-financial reward system is important to the success of performance management system. And in conclusion, we'll be talking about the impacts of non-financial rewards on employee performance. The slides are well prepared, self-explanatory. So it's something easy to read and understand after this session. So first of all, what is reward? Like we know, rewards is something positive that is based on a motivational factor to help one to improve or do better, to encourage one. So as management personnel that we have, we understand what reward is. So from my slide here, I have that reward is a positive motivational influence on a person that helps to improve its performance. What can be said to measure all, can be said that all the measures taken by the management to improve the performance of its employees, which are incentives. The incentives can be classified as financial or non-financial incentives. It depends on whichever one we have chosen. The mindset behind the reward system in an organization is to motivate and retain employees at work. We always talk about a retention strategy. What are retention techniques? What do we do to keep employees in our organization to ensure that at least they are safe, their job is secured? That's where reward comes in. And what measure we use also determines how we're going to get the retention strategy on track, or just as we have objectively strategized. A well-designed reward system leads an organization towards high productivity and employee satisfaction. If you have used a reward system that is well designed, that is well structured, your organization is at that edge to meet high productivity. And also, when there's high productivity, you know, it's not your chair and tables that are bringing this productivity, it's the employees. If employees are not satisfied, productivity cannot be at that higher level. A reward is typically centered around the idea of something given in return for well done, recompense, remunerations, or compensations for services. In line with this, performing certain behaviors becomes a means by which to obtain a reward. You don't give rewards because you want to give reward, because other organizations are giving rewards. There's something that will trigger rewards, which is a certain behavior of an employee or of a team that will trigger that reward system to come in place. So the reward acts as incentive. In this way, an employee does something in order to obtain the rewards. Also, let us note that there's a concept of recognition, which is the special notice or acknowledgement of something being done by some person or persons. Hence, the need for a reward arises. If something positive has not been done, reward cannot take place. It is when these theoretical factors are in place, then the need for using which means of reward system, either financial or non-financial, comes in play to improve employee performance. So non-financial reward system to improve performance in today's workforce. Non-financial recognition is a method of identifying either individual employees or teams for particular praise or acknowledgement. The size, the scope, and the formality of non-financial recognition schemes varies tremendously. In terms of a definition, non-financial recognition can be thought as a non-cash reward given in recognition of a high level of accomplishment or performance, such as customer care or support to colleagues, which is not dependent on the achievement of a predetermined target. A non-financial incentive are the types of reward that are not a part of employees' pay. Typically, they cost the company little or no money. When you're talking of non-financial reward system, we are not talking about the use of cash. Although cash may come in, but it will be at that minimal level where accounts department will not have to say, HR, they have come again, or operations manager, you have come again. We're always spending money, we're always doing this and that. So the non-financial incentive are that type of reward that are not part of an employee's pay. Typically, they cost the company little or no money, but they carry significant weight. They are rewards that if employee sit back to look at, oh, see, this was how I was rewarded. There's this lasting memory, and there's this, attitude to work from the employee because of how he or she has been rewarded. But sometimes when you use a reward system that is financially based, maybe you pay money into the what's it called now, the employee account to say, okay, we're thanking you for this. The employee makes use of that funds, and after a while, they just quickly forget it. But when you talk of non-financial reward system, it's that reward system that sticks to employees' memory, even not just only the employee himself, as well as every members of the organization, including you yourself as the reward manager. Typically, they cost the company little or no money, yet they carry significant weight. As company continues to make cuts to employee compensation, non-financial incentive for employee are more crucial than ever. So what are the key factors that surrounds non-financial rewards for performance improvements? Let's look at these key factors now. It is important to be aware that the concept of non-financial recognition does not necessarily mean that the recognition provided should not have financial value, just like as I mentioned, not like it's not going to have a financial value. It simply means that whatever is given should not just be money. I've mentioned that earlier. Research has it in 2002 that non-financial reward to employees is an act of recognition itself that gives esteem to employees. This is what I was explaining earlier, that self-esteem to employees, not just only the rewardee now, as well as every other employee, their self-esteem is boosted, even when they are not the person, the key focus or the key person receiving that non-financial rewards. But that's the atmosphere, the organizational atmosphere, the organizational climate, everything changes, and it boosts all employees' morale, which enhances high level of productivity. And also the work culture, everything is affected. We'll see that in the long run as we go on. This method of conveying appreciation is also likely to be considerably more memorable than a cash award, which is simply subsumed into an employee's salary. Instead, in non-financial recognition scheme, the organization can offer a gift. Employees' expectations are much higher these days, and they want to do things as well as have things. In this way, non-financial recognition scheme provides employees with something tangible that they can remember. A special day out or a great meal can instill a much more positive effect than a sum of money paid into a bank account. When you say you want to use a non-financial reward system like a special day out, you can, not like we're not going to spend cash. It depends on what the employee now wants, because there's a session we'll get to that you'll find out that if you want to reward an employee in a non-financial reward means, you are are open to have a one-on-one meeting with that employee, you have acknowledged openly to say, oh, we appreciate you for this and that. You have that policy in place where you know that, okay, after this open appreciation, okay, now the employee has to choose. It depends on how you want to, touch your, let me use the language now, touch, how you want to spice your non-financial rewards policy. If you say, okay, you want to bring in the employee to your office as the HR person to say, okay, what do you want? What do you think we can do? You have already stated the policy to say, okay, this and that are in place for social reward, for social, what's it called now, rewards. You pick out from it. If the employee chooses a special day out, that special day out, you might not necessarily be the one to sponsor it. It could be that, oh, the employee wants to have this special day out with a friend, but because of the work, the work schedule, he or she has not had that time to embark or to embark on such what's it called, engagements. So, but because that employee has been rewarded or acknowledged on a performance, so that employee now has the opportunity to use a day out of his or her work schedule to embark on her special day out. And trust me, there are employees that have need for special day. They want to, oh, I wish I can have this special day out with, it's none of your business, but just give them that day out. Let that employee know that my company my company appreciates my work, and they're giving me this time to have fun for myself or with my fiance or whoever. It depends, but it's none of your business. Your own business is you have acknowledged, you now want to be part of the person's privacy. Oh, I'm giving you this leverage. Now go ahead and have your special day out. Then you can buy a gift. Gifts, yes, you can spend some money, but there are still gifts that are very little. You don't need to, break the roof of the organization. You and the accounts department do not need to sit and crack heads, have head nods and the rest over a gift. So that's for that. So employee expectations are much higher these days, just like we mentioned. The various ways in which non-financial reward works in some practice range from those that are informal and impromptu to formal structured scheme. So it depends on your organization, how you want to spice it, how you want to have it done. For example, it's in its most basic form, non-financial recognition may be concerned with acknowledging the efforts of employees by where the manager says thank you, or the manager writes formally to record thanks, or a more senior manager in the organization writing to the individual public appreciation of the efforts in a team in an organizational newsletter or at a special dinner, or you declare the individual employee of the month or the year. So you see, this reward system has nothing to do with finance. That you as a manager, you are coming to say thank you openly, or you're writing formally to record thanks with your company letterhead. How you want to do it, fine. Usually there's a paper, there are A4 papers in our offices. So you won't say, what's it called now? Is it not money they use in buying the paper? After all, we use papers in our office, so it won't cost a thing if you take A4 sheets with your letterhead and put a well-drafted formal thank you records that employee will see and note that this has been filed. The employee morale will be boosted. Or a more senior manager, not at your branch level now, someone at the headquarters, if you say, okay, if you are in a one-man company where it's just one branch, you can talk to your boss to make that letter, to recognize. You let him know that this is our reward system, which we'll be using, and it requires you to make this formal thank you writing for this individual. This individual has performed in this aspect and that aspect, and we have, reached this so and so level. You understand? That's where G Suite management comes in. That's another topic for another day. So if we can manage our boss to that level, then we'll be able to get the reward system on a non-financial base accomplished. Then also a public appreciation of the efforts in a team meeting. During the pep talk, or maybe after, what's it called now, after the meetings, after the week activities, say Friday, if your company is the one that does every Friday, close out for the week. So during that meeting, you can just, release the bomb. I want to shock this person. You want to do this, you want to do that. Let this person feel that you acknowledge his or her efforts in the midst of every other person. It will boost morale of that person. Or you can say, do it in your organization newsletter. It's expected that at least there should be a weekly organization newsletter or monthly organization newsletter. So when that is in place, you make a public appreciation, or at a special dinner, if your organization is that type that usually have or a special dinner session. During the special dinner session, it's open for you to burst bubbles, let the air get some juicy, appreciation. The mood, everything will be on that level above 90. Everybody will go home talking about that particular, and the way you will do it will matter. It's not like when everybody's having their dinner, you just say, hey, I want to say thank you to this person. No, you should have it very juicy, that because you're not spending money, you're not using your what's it called, your critical reasoning on how to, you want to enter it. Let me not say you're working on the mind of the person. No, that's not the word, but it's more like it. You are going deep down to the mind of every employee. So you need to use you to know the right words to use. You're not just coming there to bring it on a very low key. I am making a very sweet announcement or sweet, what's it called now? Public notification in a special dinner. You should, sometimes it could even be that it's a dinner a location where maybe in a 5-star or 3-star hotel, where other guests, guests to the restaurants or wherever, they are seated. So you could, at least some persons could pride to say, what is happening over there, because of the applause that will come. So how you will say it matters a lot, because you're not spending money. So declaring the individual employee of the month or year. There are some organizations that you go to, you will see a portrait. Let me tell you, you can tell the employee, please, can I have your portrait? I don't know how you're going to do it, but sometimes what I do is this. We want to have portraits for all employees. As you're coming in, as we're onboarding you, I ask for passports, and the passport should be from your head size to outside to downwards of your breast pockets. So it doesn't look like you just only face passport. So you can even use that one to make employee of the year. Then sometimes there are employees that will come on board, they will just bring their, some kind of work passports. I reject passports. I'll tell you, please, I need, this passport doesn't look recent. It's a lie. That one looks very recent, but I have a focus. I have a target. I know what I want to use it for. The person will not know this is what you want to use it for. Sometimes, yes, we use the passport for employee, for file recording, but it is that same passport too that you can also sometimes say, we need more recent passport because maybe you have used that one. Then when they not get acquainted, they not get familiar with passport, on their own, they start bringing passport to you. Employees, they expect much because they do more and they want more. So when they notice that, oh, sometimes a time will come where they will not use my passport without me even knowing, oh, let me go and even change my passport. I had one employee there. She came out like, HR, my passport, can I retract the passport I submitted? See, I left the organization, we did appreciate her, but I know Isha rang a bell in her head that sometimes a time will come where my passport will be used as employee of the month or employee of the year. Then there's this portrait you can just add it to your budget plan for appraiser, performance appraiser. Just there's a portrait, you can just do that frame, just do it, you have it. So when you not ask me, how much would it cost me money to make this enlargement? Of course, but nothing less than 1,500. Have a company photographer. That's why you need to have company vendors, people that you can just quickly liaise with. You don't need to go and break what's it called, your accounts office vote to say you want to get funds. Just plan yourself ahead. Then there's hierarchy. There's a hierarchy recognition. Recognition becomes more formal and public commensurate with the perceived value of the actions. Having done all of this, there's a hierarchy. It comes, recognition becomes formal. That particular employee you have recognized, it's not a formal. Then public commensurate with the perceived value of the action. The employee, they will react to it. Nobody will hear such an announcement and frown. That person will ask that person questions now. Then some organization would use all these steps I have mentioned I've just mentioned, or even few of them. So this takes us to the next why non-financial rewards is important to the success of, sorry, my dog is disturbing. So why non-financial reward is important to the success of performance management systems. Non-financial rewards such as verbal praise, public recognition have fantastic ways to boost overall morale, boost your team and give them a real sense of value, which in turn will help engage and fulfill them. Promoting gratitude, generosity, and kindness in this way will also contribute to a thriving company culture and employee experience. That is self-explanatory. If your organization is looking to integrate toward the recognition for the first time, or change its approach to how it congratulates employee, a great place is to start with non-financial peer-to-peer recognition scheme. So if you have not done non-financial, if you have not done a reward system, if you have not used any of this before, either financial or non-financial, I think you should first of all start with a non-financial reward system. So it's from there you transition into a financial reward system, because how employees how you have used the different techniques, you will not know, oh, everybody has been recognized in this way and that way. Sometimes it can take to 5 years, you're still using non-financial reward system, and your company culture is at that very peak level that you can say, I have done well for this organization. Even your employer will recognize your efforts. The employee experience too is on a positive level. So not only is this a great way to reinforce business value and a cost-effective approach to engaging and encouraging your team to work efficiently, but it will also help to foster a culture of generosity and gratitude and boost self-confidence and a sense of belonging. You will see that in companies now, some employees, they like hiding under other team. And some supervisors, they tend to want to be in the good book of their subordinates, or supervisee rather. So because of this, They want to cover things. They want to hide everything. But when you start putting reward system in place, especially non-financial reward system, we start applying it, you will see that everybody's confidence will start coming out. So everybody will start taking responsibility for what they have been assigned to do. Recognition and praise from a colleague or manager can send a stronger message of thanks than a simple raise or bonus. So you see that recognition sends a message than when you give money. Money, now, the person has used it to solve one or two problems, and he or she forgets what that money was, even how the money even came. Like, oh, okay. It's not like the money is not good, but let's start from somewhere. Let's understand that money cannot buy happiness. That's why that adage is there, or that proverb is there. Money cannot buy happiness. And there's a limit to which money can solve. Money cannot solve a long-term problem, most especially when it comes to toxicity in an organization. Giving money, you will even increase that level of toxicity in the organization, because you've given to one person. The other team will not see the need why you have even rewarded that person. Rather, they will see it like, oh, this one is even clicking up with this one. Whatever you're saying, so long as they are not bonding together, they are not on the same level of bonds of team bonding, that money appreciation or reward you have given will not speak volume. But you can use non-financial reward system to curb so many problems in organization. You understand me? So especially when this also involves feedback from a manager on how they can further improve and progress in their role and beyond. We have all heard the phrase, money cannot buy happiness. I just mentioned that now. Money cannot buy happiness, but from a business perspective, money alone also can't buy loyalty or engagement. Many individuals nowadays want more than a salary. They want an experience, culture, and company values that align with their own. You will see I don't know, some persons here must have experienced an employee coming for interview, and when you ask them any question for us, what do they ask? How is the workplace culture? You see, every employee wants to be in a place that they want to feel relaxed. They want to feel loved. They want to have that sense of, belonging. They have their own personal value. They have their own personal interest. So they want to now checkmate it with what they are coming into, if it aligns. So it's not just about money. That is not to say financial incentives do not have their place. It's not like financial incentives don't have their place. They do. But in order to really reach and inspire each and every one of your employees, you need to use the combined influence of both monetary and non-monetary rewards. You have to combine the both, and know when to bring which one to play. So if it's time for you to use monetary rewards, you use. If it's time to use non-monetary reward, you know what to use. Choose the best techniques and go with it. Another problem with recognition scheme that uses financial reward alone is that they can often result in a short-term solution for a long-term challenge. Just like as I said, if an organization is experiencing toxicity, financial recognition cannot solve that problem. It will only solve a short-term solution, which is recognizing an employee who has performed before every other person. But there's a long-term challenge, which is that toxicity that is existing in the organization. So how does that monetary reward, how has it curbed that toxicity now? Rather, it will spur up so many things. Whereas even you, if you're not careful, you're not even in the know that something is happening. You understand? So that's that. Then there isn't a quick fix for engaging disengaged employees, and money motivator on their own won't get to the root of the problem. So you see it, employees that are already disengaged, using monetary reward system cannot bring them back. It cannot. It's important to keep all of this in mind when deciding the best way to reward and recognize success in your workplace. Here's a manager appreciating an employee. You can see the smile. You can see that's in like there's this joy. There's a way every employee wants to have that rapport with a senior manager, or if you just give that access, just grant that access. That access alone would bring a whole lot of things on from an employee. So we have 8 non-financial measures of a reward system. We have the status, organization climate, career advancement opportunity, job enrichment, job security, employee recognition programs, employee participation, employee empowerment. So these are few of the non-financial measures of a reward system. We're going to be looking at them briefly. So when you talk about status, does your employee in your organization know the position they are, where they stand in your organization? Do they know where they stand in your organization? Or is everybody on the same level? Are they on the same status? How have you positioned your organization charts? That is what this status focus is talking about now. Organization status refers to the position in the hierarchy of the organization chart, the level of authority, responsibility, recognition, salary, perks, etc. determines the status of an employee in the organization. A person at the top level of management has more authority, responsibility, recognition, salary, and vice versa. Status satisfies the self-esteem and psychological needs of an individual, and in turn motivates him to work harder. If you say you've employed me as a manager and you don't have this organization chart in this image now, this is an organization chart, I'm sure everybody has it, where you have at the top the board of trustees or the board of directors, then you have the second layer, you have the different levels. You understand? You see how it's connecting. This is a connector. It's the organogram is talking about your communication channel, your line of authority, report channel, everything is what defined here. If you employ me as a manager and I'm on this down level, and I'm on this down level here now, where I don't know who to direct, who I'm controlling, who I'm managing, then the person here on this level can jump from here, come here, and start talking to this person on this angle without connecting with who he or she is reporting to here. You see that you everything will be scattered in the organization. This is more like it's a session of its own. But what this has to do with non-financial reward system now is this: how have you recognized your employees by how you have engaged them? Is it well defined? Is it publicized? Like I have my organization charts in our office. It's there. Just as you walk in, you see it. It's not what you now say, I don't know who I'm reporting to. Then every office has this. So it's well placed there. So you can't say, hey, I don't know who, I met the janitor and I told her to do this and that and that and this. I don't know who to meet. There's a channel of commands that status gives to every employee. So every employee wants to know their status in your organization. Define the status, let it be known. Let everybody recognize each and every other person's status. Also, the organizational climate. Organizational climate refers to the environmental characteristics of an organization that are perceived by its employees about the organization and has a major influence on their behaviors. Each organization has different organizational climates that distinguish it from other organizations. Some factors that influence the organizational climate of an enterprise are organizational structure. That is also taking us back to the status. How has an organization been structured? Is everything just going back and front, like zigzag? There's no direct channel. Everybody is just doing things on their own. Individual responsibility. Do people know their responsibility? Do they know that they have been employed for this purpose? Do you have to just go down to everybody to let everybody know daily, this is what you're supposed to do? Then the reward, what's the reward system? All of this has to do with organization climate, risk and risk taking, warmth and support, tolerance and conflict. How is tolerance level? What's the tolerance level in your organization? We know the present economic situation now in the country, and we know that everybody is hyper. People are trying to manage their emotions, while some, they find it difficult to cope with it. If you can put all of this in place to checkmate it, there'll be so much conflict here and there. But you find out that it's not even admin, what's it called, role that's causing conflict between admin and the which person do I use now? Another staff, rather. Then you say admin and project manager. It's not like a task, a responsibility, or work-related issues. It could be that there's a personal issue that is affecting each of them, but they brought it to the workplace. It will now, tolerance level 0, conflict every egbasbos. Your organization will just turn like a wrestling ground. Things will not be happening there. Then when the organizational climate is positive, employees tend to be more motivated. Try and checkmate the organizational climate in your organization and see how staffs have been motivated or not. If you feel that work from home mode can be used to checkmate what climate situation is in an organization, then introduce work from home mode. But note, not all organizations can do work from home, because if you are in a school education sector, even if you are in the administrative section, you can't do work from home, because you need to ensure that the day-to-day activities that teachers are doing, carrying on, you need to, get reports. You need to work physically with your subordinates. Understanding the staff needs to be eased off their work pressure too, which will reduce conflict and non-tolerance. So understand your staff needs. I mentioned it earlier. Understand that what is causing conflict, it's not work related or is work related. If you know that the staff needs to be eased off of work pressure, then give some time off. Those are reward system, non-financial reward system you can use to put organizational climate on a control level that will enhance productivity. I hope I'm not boring you guys. So you can see the image here. The image here is showing minds, everybody's minds, and the world, the map, right? Or rather, you see everything is showing here. So it's the organizational climate is being controlled and it's affected by the people in the organization, not the share and tables, your people, your employees. Then career advancement opportunity. It is important for an organization to have an appropriate skill development program and a sound promotion policy for its employees. which works as a booster for them to perform well and get promoted. So if you have selected some staff that you know they need to go for career advancement, write it to them, let them know that, oh, I've been selected for this purpose. It's a motivation. It enhances productivity on a high level. And it brings everybody's mind to book to, oh, I want to be acknowledged by my director or by my boss or by my HR to be positioned for a career advancement opportunity. You are sponsoring it. You can just drag some what's it called? Some courses online and use it for the career advancement opportunity. You don't need to bring an external facilitator. It could be in-house. It could be maybe like, okay, we're having an outing and we're going to one serene place, just chill out there, meat pie and a bottle of water, a bottle of malt will do. But note that after that career advancement opportunity, you are filing it, you are documenting it, you're sending a mail of recognition to that employee to tell that employee that having concluded so career advancement opportunity, attach few responsibilities to it to spice it up. It will make that employee understand that, oh, you have my interests at heart. You see it. So things are very easy. We don't need to spend money. We need to learn how to be economical too as HROs, so that we don't start having too much fights with our finance team. Then job enrichment. Job enrichment refers to the designing of job in such a way that it involves a high level of knowledge and skills, a variety of work content, more autonomy and responsibility of employee. Every employee wants to work in a high level of autonomous operations. They don't want to be bossed around. They want to have that control, give them the responsibility. So if you have given that career advancement, so what's next? Job enrichment, responsibility of the employee, more autonomy. You haven't acknowledged the person. You are enriching the job with this meaningful work experience and more opportunities for growth. When the job is interesting, it serves as a source of motivation. Then job security. An employee that has gone via that career advancement session from you and having gotten a job enrichment knows that, oh, my job is secured. But mind you, when employees find out that their job is secured, it also causes some level of see finish. Some of them, that's just the negative aspect of this incentive, that employees tend to take the job for granted and they will not work efficiently. So you don't need to make it like, oh, I've done this, so this person now is in your good book. Then you start throwing face away. You need to attach your policy. Are policy driven. So whatever you're doing, be objective about it. Let your policy state whatever you want to do, that everybody reads it and notes that this is and that. That's how you can checkmate where employees want to take this for granted. Then employee recognition programs. We're mentioning employee recognition programs earlier. Recognition means acknowledgement and appreciation of work done by employees. Recognition in the organization boosts their self-esteem and they feel motivated. For example, declaring the best performer of the week or of the month, as we have mentioned, displaying their names on the notice boards and giving them reward fall under employee recognition programs. Then employee participation. when employees are fully involved in decision making regarding the issue related to them, such as you can just say canteen committee, just create some committees that are, just to involve them. You can just create committee, you can just say canteen committee, work committee. So if there's any issues in canteen, committee, oh yeah, what is the resolve on this? Everybody is fully participating in operations. Their employee empowerment, giving more autonomy and power to subordinates, also makes them feel that they are important to the organization, and in turn, they serve the organization better. So we can find some other measures of non-financial reward system, which include flexible working. We know what the flexible working is. Give employees time to work on their own projects. If you say, okay, won't this their project affect the work? It depends. Is it related to their career? Then give them time. They need to advance. You can't stop them in your organization. How you're not doing career advancement, job enrichment, their job is not secured, and you don't want them to work on their own project. Not like you're giving them time to say, okay, let them go and make money. No, that's not it. It should be more like a CSR, so it will not align with your own organization. Like they can use your organization name. So it's even a favor to your organization. The extra leave can come in different form. You know that. Allow time to do volunteer work. That's CSR now, or sorry, that's more like personal advancement. One-on-one meetings. Call them in. Have a one-on-one meetings with them. How do you think I can reward you? This, what do you think? Just find out from them. Give employees chance to show appreciation for each other. Reward employees with more responsibilities. Let everyone know who you are rewarding and what you are rewarding them with. Give your employees the opportunity to attend educational or well-being events or workshops. So recognize your employees on social media. Our company now, we have a social media that it's 25%, active at the moment, because we just recently got an IT person. So presently what we are doing, we are showcasing our operations, our business. So, but by the grace of God, it's in my performance appraiser proposal for the next quarter. So start appraising or recognizing employee of the month on social media. Not just only the employee within the organization that we see this now. You're even outside the organization, both those that are not working with you, your networks, they will see it, and they're like, this is what we encourage each employee within the organization. The employee of the month and quarter, birthday off. You can give birthday off. Oh, today is your birthday. Okay, having celebrated that person openly, you may not do anything big. Small cake. If you're not even buying cake, fine. If you're not buying anything, fine. If it's voucher, birthday voucher, you can do, but give birthday off. If your employee has a baby that, oh, my baby is celebrating, you notice that, oh, I just got to know that your baby is celebrating today. What do? You can ask that employee to go on off. You can go on off today. Go celebrate your daughter's birthday with her. You can have today's off. I'm surprised. Everybody will like, oh, really? Yes, you can do that. It's a big motivating factor to performance improvement. Then collaborative message from all employees. You can tell everybody, send her a birthday message to wish her a baby happy birthday, or to wish her husband, or to wish herself, just that. So that's that. So in conclusion, the impact of non-financial rewards on employee performance, the objective of the benefits goes in rate of its percentage impacts on the organization. So we looked at the objective now, having gone through all of this, we'll find out that if we use non-financial reward system, we'll see that on a percentage of 84 over 100, there will be a positive work environment. Then a percentage of 76 to reinforce desired behaviors. On a percentage of 73, it will motivate high performance. On a percentage of 69, it will increase morale. In a percentage of 68, it will support organization missions and values. And in a percentage of 51, it will increase retention and decrease turnover. To encourage loyalty in a percentage of 45, support a cultural change, on a percentage of 69. The others can come 28%. Others depends on, just as we mentioned earlier, reward has to do with organization, individual organizations, how my organization will react to non-financial rewards against financial reward would differ, or it differs from how your organization will react to non-financial reward as against financial reward system to improve employee performance. So why is loyalty 45%? Mind you, you're dealing with humans. They have their personal issues, they have what they expect. You can't save the whole world. We are HROs. We can't save the whole world. We're not Jesus Christ. We'll only do our best. We can try. We'll do research on, how can we do this? How can we do that? It's not even up to 50 because you're dealing with humans that have their own interests. They know what they have come to the organization to do. So they will just try to align with what you have done because they have seen other persons, do this and that. So it's close to 50, but that means that we'll keep trying, because if loyalty is up to 50, you will see that it will not be like as if we have done a major thing. This here shows that we need to do more work. Thank you very much. I'm Mrs. Jennifer Otas. You can connect me on LinkedIn as Jennifer O. Odete, and here you have my WhatsApp contacts. If there are any questions or contributions, please feel free. Let's learn and unlearn together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jennifer, for this wonderful presentation. We appreciate your effort so much, and the way you break down the topic. This topic is a very interesting one. And before I ask for contribution in the chat box, I would like to say that if your contribution and you are willing to share.
I can hear you, please.
Voice notes, you would get ready, and very soon would call you to speak. By get ready, please, you can put them at the top. Can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me, Jennifer? Hello, Jennifer.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Okay, so I was saying thank you very much for the wonderful presentation.
Okay,
this topic is a very interesting one, and we appreciate your coming in to elaborate more on it. These rewards, sometimes we HR professionals, we leave out things such, most of the things you have spoken about, things such as job rotation and making the job interesting for our people, recognitions and all that. So we think of only financial rewards, like we are increasing your salary by 10%, we are going to give you. So we forget things like days off, like you spoke about, we forget things like when you see your employees stressed out, you see that they've made wonderful inputs. They have done a lot already when it comes to on the job. A day before, for example, they spent late night, maybe to 8 due to a project or audit issues. You can just say, take tomorrow off as part of, trying to reward or motivate that employee, apart from saying I'll add to your salary, because we cannot add to everybody's salary at the same time. So maybe there's a great performance. We can just talk about, okay, how do we motivate this person? Maybe by public recognition, just like we talked about, and all those kind of things. So these are the things that we do not recognize, and they are very important, even for loyalty. Like you mentioned loyalty, and I must commend your effort so much, and the way you presented this topic. Okay, so I would like to listen to our contributions or questions. If you have a contribution or question and you do not want to leave it on the chat box, please signify using the icon to raise your icon so that I would call you, so that Jennifer would answer some questions from you. So if you have a question, please, you can either put it on the chat box. I'm looking at the chat box now, or okay, so I have a comment here, says non-financial rewards help boost workers' self-confidence, help them find self-actualization, and make them feel more secure in their job. Thank you very much, Suanu, and thank you so much for your contribution. So if you have more contribution or questions, Jennifer is ready to entertain your questions now. I know that she has broken down the topic. She has spoken a number of things about the topic, and I would like to, or you have experiences with regards non-financial rewards in your present place or your past place of work, can share with us too, so that we would learn from you. Anyone having a question? Anyone? Okay. So it's but Jennifer.
Yes, please.
Hello. Yes.
I'm
So
with you.
I would like to ask this interesting. I would like to ask this interesting question. So we have said a number of things, and you have spoken about a number of things that we could do to motivate our employees when it comes to non-financial rewards, because everyone, so in this particular present system that we have, you know that many people, we humans, all of us, right? We prefer that monetary value, like I was speaking to someone yesterday, and the person was telling me that if I see where they will give me 500,000, even if there's no HMO safe, there's no HMO as benefits, and somebody is saying they'll give me 300,000 naira, 350,000 naira with HMO. I'll go to that 500,000 naira without HMO. And I was like, these are human thoughts. So people are not seeing the advantage of maybe HMO or other non-financial benefits. You understand? They are looking at the monetary value, and they are forgetting that you can monetize these values. So if I say HMO is not needed, I will take 500,000 naira, and someone is giving me 350 without HMO, with HMO. So how do am I able to say that 150,000 naira or less will be spent on HMO? How would I know? Because there are unforeseen contingencies, there are things that might just come up on health issues, families, and all that. So I was trying to make the person see reasons why it is better for me to take 350,000 naira job with HMO and leave out the 500,000 naira job. Now, my question is, how would you be able to convince your people that these benefits are actually worth it, that they will not run away because they have seen 2,000 naira or 3,000 naira or 10,000 naira extra on their pay? How would you be able to convince them to see that it's worth the non-financial benefits, that the non-financial benefits actually worth it? What do you think we can do with that regard? People want money.
Okay. First of all, I tell people, before you take a job, you look at the benefits, because it's not just about the salary now, it's about the benefits. The benefits are things that will tell you your job is secured. Because an organization that has your interests, your health interests, that has your future interest, which is pension, and also has your mortgage interest, which is now has to do with your housing and all of that. That's a secure job that everyone should embrace, except that person has not understand the needs for which he or she has a career. There are people that they have certifications, they have degrees, they just have it because ABC has it. So they want to be on the same level, they want to major. But if you understand in-depthly why you have a career, you should know what to pick. It's just like you telling a child, or you telling an adult, you can't jump from the ceiling down. You will break your leg, you will hurt your head and the rest. It's a clear focus. It's an individual interest. It's not what you can convince. It's not what I can convince somebody to. It has to do with individual focus, individual interests. So anyone that wants to pick because of the current situation will not be like this forever. Things will change, and a time will come where even that 150,000 would not be able to solve a problem that your HMO would be able to solve. You understand? So it has to do with individual interest, individual choice, and the focus. What's the key focus of that person? The people that go to work. I can tell you in confidence that I have worked for a 50,000 naira for a period of 1 year. Somebody told me, I can't do that. I said, wow, it's the experience that matters. And the experience I have, that person doesn't even have half of it. But I'm still happy that at least I can beat my chest to say, she can come up to me to tell me, oh, babe, I need this XYZ, and I can direct her, guide her. That's a credit to me. So it's not about the money. It's about it's the focus of that person, what the person intends to achieve. If you say, okay, 150,000 naira, it's your, what's it called now? Your resolve to solve every problem you have, then fine, go for it. But I bet you that place you're going to might even be most toxic compared to where he or she would have been. So that's it. I don't think I'm not sure if I answered your question correctly, but that's
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. There are some conversations going on the chat box, and I don't know if anyone wants to speak on this topic, relate any experience before we close up today. Anyone is anyone
I'd
raising up?
like to speak. I'd like to speak,
Okay.
and for me,
right.
It's not a question, but a contribution. To the question that was asked earlier, I think that the speaker has done well with responding. But I'd like us to note that non-financial reward does not guarantee job security. When considering rewards, businesses must have to think from a total reward perspective. What is important is the mix. How do you mix rewards such that you will have a positive outcome? The positive outcome every business expects is that employees are engaged and eventually deliver profitability, which in turn comes back to every stakeholder to the organization. So we must think the right mix of non-financial and financial rewards. The average Nigerian, in truth, will value financial reward, and that's because of the society we find ourselves. But I think people are beginning to move differently nowadays because of the improvements we've had in areas of medical support, medical insurance, and the fact that most Nigerian companies are adopting international standards with respect to medical insurance. Let's understand that culture, they say, eats strategy for breakfast. So if You want more of financial, and you have a toxic environment which does not enforce some of those non-financial factors that Jennifer has mentioned, you can hardly survive. I'm not sure who would like to earn large amounts of money and go home every day disturbed emotionally and psychologically. So what is key for every business, every human resource practitioner advising businesses on what to do with rewarding people is to get the right mix of non-financial reward and financial reward, and especially with respect to the kind of business environment, business operation, because no two companies in different sectors are the same in the way they apply the non-financial reward factors that Jennifer has shared with us. That's my contribution. Let's just take note that what is key is how we mix our reward system in order to engage employees, because only engaged employees help deliver business results. And only when there are business results that companies will continue to exist and engage more employees.
Yes, wow. Thank you very much. Thank you for that wonderful contribution. I would like to read what we have in the chat box. Very interesting, from Sandra. She said, I think HR leaders should strike a balance between the profits and non-profit reward system, because our value place is different. That I want a monetary reward does not make me love money, but maybe because I need to clear some bills, which public appreciation or employee of the year cannot clear, you know? Yes, so I wanted to make this point before I saw this. So it's kind of dicey. So we need to see what fits, just like the speaker just finished saying and contributing. What fits into A may not fit into B. So what might motivate me or what I will appreciate, my colleague might not appreciate the same thing. So I may not want a financial reward, but at some point I may want a financial reward due to the situation of things. And somebody else might think that I do not need a financial reward because I think I'm okay. I have side gigs, but as I need a public, appreciation. I want people to see me. I want that fulfillment at some point. So it's kind of subjective to or relative to what you want and what somebody else's want. So it's very good that we strike a balance. Actually, yes, it's very good that we strike a balance when it comes to financial reward and financial reward. Okay. I do not. Okay, I see Rita Babalola. Yes, Rita, please speak.
Okay, good evening, everyone. That was a wonderful presentation by Jennifer, and then the moderator, I didn't get your name. I just wanted to add some key points. I think when we're talking about non-financial reward, it's always good as HR practitioners or whatever role that you found yourself, and you're in charge of such opportunity to better the lives of employees. One thing that we need to know is we need to conduct an employee engagement initiative. I don't know if she did take that along because I joined late. The need to take employee engagement initiative becomes imperative because we're all different human beings. My background, my financial capability may be different from another person. While another person, cash can be what motivates them. For another person, just like what she said, is a good work culture. But be that as it may, the need to conduct employee engagement survey, motivational survey, so that's to get the actual thing that really resonates with these individuals in the workplace. Then I want to share a personal experience. When I joined Guarantee Trust Bank, let me just say, I'm sorry, I shouldn't even have mentioned the name. I remember I took a step back in terms of job title and the position in terms of hierarchy. And why I had two offers from two different banks, top-ranked bank, I had to start looking at, I asked people, in terms of this bank and this bank, what do you think? And people gave me different diverse things. And I think one thing that GTB had over most banks that people wanted to work with GTB at all costs was the need, especially female. They had a crush on the Highland. And then if you think about baby bath, the logistic of looking for a crèche, looking for somewhere to put the first 2 years of your child, you want to have a place where it's comfortable, where you think you can easily go and navigate. So imagine those working on the Highland there. It was a must. It was the pull for GT Bank then. And that was why people wanted that. Then I also remember that another way of doing that is if you look at HMOs, just like you said earlier, I mean, you may have, I think I wrote something on LinkedIn last week where I was mentioning like some things that we need to look at in terms of not relying on financial pay only. And I remember an incident where there was, in my previous workplace, there was this in an oil and gas, there is the account personnel, there were about 4 of them. And I remember one of them feeling from him, if you are familiar with international trade, there's this thing we call from him. And then this particular guy was like the second level person out of 4 people in account. But his role was the one that was involving letters of credit, all this thing about following oil cargo, trading and things like that. So an opportunity arose for them. And we had to make a choice in picking one person to go and represent the organization. It was an oil and gas conference in the UK. And then, because, for some people, it was the most senior person that should go. But I stood my ground then. And I remember vividly people were shouting. I said, no, the person that has that desk, that has that job responsibility, once the opportunity comes, we should allow people, irrespective of hierarchy, for that singular act, that individual would never forget working in that organization. So those are things that appeal to people. When you look at other work benefits that doesn't necessarily have to do with cash, what kind of opportunity would you avail an employee? For some female, it may just be, give me clothing allowance, of wardrobe allowance and things like that, and quantify it. For some people, maybe at the end of the year, go on vacation, a paid sponsored trip. So I think that's my contribution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Rita, for that wonderful contribution. That was very nice. Jennifer, do you want to have a closing remark before we call it a day?
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. And like I mentioned earlier, it's a session to learn and unlearn. I too have learned 1 or 2. And talking about employee engagement here, before you talk about reward system, your employee engagement is in place. It has to be, it's what you're measuring. You cannot use reward without engagement. So definitely employee engagement is key. So we should know that. Then also I saw a question there I saw a question from someone. Say I work as an HR, but I also have a boss who does not support any of these, whether non-financial or not. It even becomes worse. If you try to involve the financial angle of it, how do I work with such in staff motivation? Because many times I get complaints. Okay, there's what we call G Suite management, managing your boss. I think you should, first of all, get that in place, get acquainted with. I have worked with difficult bosses. There are people that have opened businesses and they don't have the technical know-how. They don't know how it operates. They believe, I think this particular boss now, quote me if I'm wrong, he's one of those of my previous employers I have chosen not to ever work with. I rather stay home and do more of consultation, do more volunteer roles than work with such bosses. But it's an experience though. But when you understand the G Suite management, you will understand how to work with some bosses. If a boss do not want to do anything that has to do with putting you on track as an HR to achieving your HR operations, what he has employed you for, then you need to have a one-on-one session with him. You define your job description with him, what he wants from you, why he has put you there. If he has reduced your HRO engagement to just hiring and firing, documenting policies, some of these kind of bosses, they don't even understand the term policy. They don't even give attention to policies. So let there be this understanding between you and the boss. Let him put you in line with what the business is facing. Maybe there are things that he's not telling you. You should understand the business, know if the business is generating funds or not. Perhaps the business might be having some issues. That's why he doesn't want to hear this and that when it comes to motivation as regards reward. Then on that angle is, how the employees in the organization engaged? How have you engaged the employees? How have you sent your work engagement reports and that you have what's called set in place? Is it seeing everything in place? Because if as an HR you have not done the right employee engagement, and you're going to your boss to tell him about this, that it will not fly. Attention will not reach that. So thank you very much. That's what I can say on that.
Okay.
I want
Thank
to
you
say
very
thank you
much,
to
Jennifer.
Mr. Oluyemi for this opportunity. I look forward to more. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Deborah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I like to say that if I have the opportunity to offer you employment, one of the things I'll put in your contract is that I will make provision for a place to keep your dog and take care of your dog as part of our non-financial.
Sorry, sir.
Thank you for that session. Many thanks to everyone who have contributed, from the most recent, our most consistent, ever reliable, Rita Babalola, Mrs. Thank you so much. Many thanks to all our co-admins for today. Thank you so much, Natural Swanu. Thank you also, especially for your contribution. It came in very handy. Thank you as always, our ever dependable Deborah Dumbury. We hope you all had a nice time. All right, let me just stop the recording.